Mm. Hello, and welcome back to Divine Emperor's cast, also known as the Dead Emperor. Today I'm going to show you another PvZ style I've developed, and what it further entails I'm going to show you in this game. So, it's a Curse Plateau, mid-master level PvZ. Forge fast expand is of course the obvious choice when it comes to expanding. So, dropping my pile and scouting, just standard gameplay in the beginning, nothing fancy or just getting my forge, because I didn't scout him up here, so just in case I got a pretty forge, scouted him here, so it was a good decision. Next is going up, cannon shooting away. Going to finish my wall up here with the cybernetic core. Adding another pile so I can keep on producing, and this is pretty much where it begins differentiating. You can see I've taken both my gas. This is pretty much as in my blink timing, if I'm not mistaken, where I take them like right after the gateway started. I add them down on them both, so I can get an early 1+ weapon. So yeah, I keep up pro production because it's not like a heavy timing like the blink. It's just some weak like aggression. It's just something to force slightly more units than growth. So yeah, I just chrono boost a gateway, chrono boost the forge. History is underway, just as in a normal PvZ. When you go forge, that's usually the response. Keep it on. Continue with probes, rogues. Slightly late this game. Normally I have them out by like 7 minutes, but I'm like 20 seconds I think later here. But yeah, and then once the last one's done, move out for Zealots with 1+ weapon. Now, where I got the inspiration I got from Israel and Kirikaki, who did like 2-gate Zealot pressure. But I felt like it was like it delayed my tech too much, I felt. So I decided to develop my own, and that's why I developed this 1-gate with the 4 Zealots. Now, of course, that means it's not as powerful, but still, you can like, the moment he sees my Zealots, you can see 6 links, 10 links, and it's going to continue rising up to 12 and 18, 14, 18, yeah. So, like, 42 to 7, this is where the rogue normally takes the lead. Like, we're about even normally around this area, and then he goes like 20 drones, and suddenly you are 10 drones behind. And that is why I do this self-aggression, because it then forces him to get 20 links instead. Although that's in 10 drones, but yeah, you get my point. So I just go up, going to poke on the third. Going to try and take down the queen. And if you can do that, that's great. Taking down queens stops his production by a lot, even if it means sacrificing itself. Because what you want is not to kill all his links, it's to force him to get a lot of links and halt his production. And killing queens is a very good way to halt production, because he can't get enough lava. So 47 probes to 38 drones, still sitting comfortably behind my my wall off. Both a robo and a Twilight console. This is generally the style I wanted to show. Like, I get my Twilight console so I can not only get blink but get 2 weapon upgrades, as well as is an easy access to Templar Archives later in the game. So I can, instead of going a Templar Archive and then like a Twilight console and then Templar Archives, I can just throw Templar Archives as soon as I want it, pretty much. And then the Robo for Observer, but also for the Immortals. This is the new thing about my style. It's not like a blink timing, it's a generally more defensive style with Immortals for late game. But yes, I'm not sure how many of you have heard it, but this is generally my attempt at the EST unit composition or style, if you want, where you get Stalkers, Immortals, and High Templars, because High Templar Storms pretty much kills any threats to this unit composition, like Mutaling, Hydras, and so forth. But you will, of course, you cannot, of course, afford both Robo and a Templar Archives at 2 bases, so this is something I add like when I'm on 3 bases. But in the meantime, just getting my Sentries, getting my Immortal, getting my Stalker, which is also very useful if he decides to go for like a Roach counter. If he thinks like your tech is behind and he's going to punish you, then a few Force Fields and Immortal here together with the cannon should easily hold any kind of Roach aggression. So here he's just getting up some units, rolling up a little bit. My 2 weapon is about to get done. Fast forwarding a little bit, current boosting it a little, so I'll get it as soon finished as possible. So now it's a little bit over 11 minutes. The 3rd Immortal is coming out. I have a good amount of Stalkers with 2+. I have Sentries, I have everything which I need to defend against aggression, and thus I move out like around between 11 and 12 minutes is when I move out generally. So I then just get my probe, take my 3rd, and you can see in my probe count I already have 67 probes, so by the time this one is up I can immediately saturate it, and then I will have like a 3 base full income and saturation at the 14-minute mark, I think, around, which is pretty good. As you can see, this is actually a pretty good force, like after you forced all those things, and then when you try to drone up again, you have this defensive force, so it's like, he could all-in you, but you should still hold it, or you can drone up, and then there's no way he can actually take this on it. So here comes just some Lings, trying to go in with the Roaches, but yeah, even without Force Field, the Lings just instantly die, and then there's 22 Roaches versus 15 Stalkers and 3 Immortals with 2+ weapon. There's just no way you can actually beat that, so he goes back, I get a couple of cannons, current Ling run by, just to defend the turn, in case I'm on the attacking front. Getting double Forge, high love upgrades, as you guys might have noticed, so continuing my Immortal production, just getting this Stoker Immortal mix. Seriously, it can take on Hydra Roach, it can take on Ling Bling, it can take on Ling Ultra Bling, although I would like, it's better if you have high temperatures in that scenario. But still, this composition can take almost anything if you just have good engagement, good force fields, and good guardian shields. Also, that's just activating it. But yeah, as long as you just engage good, know how to engage, like, you should be able to counter almost every unit composition. The problem is, of course, like Broadlords, in which case you probably want Archons or Storm to cover you. Mutaling can be slightly hard, like you can win it in a straight up fight, but Muta Harass is hard to deal with. But considering you're going so heavy in Blink Stalkers and you're going to get Storms and High Temper Archives, I would say this is actually even better against Muta Ling than the Collosus composition normally is. So yeah, overall it's just, I found it a solid composition to more or less anything so he can throw at you. I've yet to actually discover a unit composition which totally destroys this. Like, in Custom Broadlord, the famous Zerg Deathball can be hard, but that's, no matter what unit composition you do, it's going to be hard, and you are going to need some pretty sticky engagements to actually win that, so it's just generally how the matchup works. So yeah. As you can see, I already have 3 weapons at 16 minutes. I think I got like 15 minutes mark, yeah. So it's pretty darn early and helps you a lot when it comes to both roaches and links. Like he's 1-2, 1-1, and I am like 1-3. Second armor, over halfway done. So adding a couple of high templars. Going to take my fort now. Unfortunately, he has creep there, and I didn't bother scouting, so I was like, I was planning on just adding the nexus once I moved out, because now I'm maxed, and when I'm maxed, I generally move out with this. Because, well, like, the time where you go max on this is around the 7-minute mark, and this is like the phase where he's starting to get ready to get birdlords, but isn't like all the way there yet. And I feel that's when his composition is at its strongest and the service at its weakest. So I then tend to go with a maxed army with storms, with force field, with guardian shield, a lot of immortals. And as you move out with that, you should be able to get 2 armor out in time, which means you will have 3-2 by 17 minutes and a maxed army with storms, and that's a pretty sick army, especially against 1-2 roaches and 1-1 links. Because stalkers went 2 weapon upgrades ahead to 3 shots them instead of 4 shots them, and if you have zealots as well, that if they are 1 weapon upgrade ahead, they can 2-shot the links. So should be moving out here pretty much now, yeah. And he has this, he's pretty much maxed himself on roaches. He has 12 infestors, a good bunch of roaches, and a few links to just soak fire, which should work, but... And here he comes, like, goes in with infestors, gets up a couple of bundles. I just use my high templar, feedbacks pretty much almost all infestors, and even without force fields, I just totally crushed his unit composition. You can just see his food is going down to like 130. I still have 184 left. Of course, this is slightest half because of the remax, but still, my army is like much bigger. I don't think I even lost half my army and killed 12 infestors and all those roaches and links. Just A-moved. I had no force fields, nothing. I just crushed it. Because the immortals just do so much damage to roaches, and they're overall decent to links even, with good upgrades. And because of the good feedbacks which I managed to get off. Had I also used some storms, it would probably have been even more one-sided. So now kill his spur, I kill his fort, I killed some of his reinforcement coming from those bases, and he's like sitting there with a broken back, trying to remax, and roaches trying to get some birdlords. But even so, I have this army remaxed. Like I'm stacking 3,000 resources because I'm just getting all the resources I need all the time. He's not killing my things fast enough for me to spend. So I'm just mining, and then getting this huge trust him because he's not killing anything. I'm just crushing him. And again, trapping a few roaches, going forth. Here he has, he gets 3 broadlords and like 30 links. In addition to those roaches, but still, I just crush him. This is 1 army. I didn't even have to remax. Because unlike the Collosus-based armies, where you're like betting everything on your power unit, the Collosus, this army can remax. You can have like 2 immortals pumping, 2 robos pumping immortals, and 12, 16 gates if you are on several bases. And then you can just like pump out units, and you're not dependent on like a core, like for example the Colossus. Instead you have more massable units like immortals, high tempers with storm, which comes from gateways, and this, I would say, makes it less burnable to soak remaxes, because even if he remaxes, you can remax as well if you just got the economy for it. Yeah, but I didn't even need it in this scenario. I just a moved and won, pretty much. Just to further prove my point, I'm going to show one other replay. There we go. It's versus my teammate, the Dark Mage, High Master, around 800 points. This is from like a week or two ago, so he's not that high then, but it's pretty high, so he's a pretty good player. Just opening the same. And this was also the first time I actually used it, so not as perfect as not as good I think as the last game, but it just goes to show it's better to show how powerful the unit composition is, because once we're getting into late game, he is going to get Broodlords, Lings, and Infestors. And with Immortals and Stalkers, I am actually rolling a Ling heavy composition with Broodlords. He doesn't have all that many, but he has a decent amount. And it's limited how many I can actually get by the 17th mark. So yeah, just go with the Zealots, boom boom. You get some roaches, which is a very good answer. You don't need as many larvae for the roaches as you need for lings, although they may cost slightly more. So yeah, going to try and poke, see if I don't have tech, because if I did like Ace or Elfie or Kivitaki, which I got my inspiration from, yeah, I would have had slightly more problems, because what they did was like, they had like 7 Zealots by the time I had 4, but at the same time they delayed the Cybercore by like a minute or so, which is why I developed my own style, because I didn't like that. I wanted to like continue on my standard macro plan, just put a little bit of pressure. Yeah, in this game I'm also not getting High Templars, because I saw he went like for roaches. I just figured I'm not going to get it. Like, I think I got it like in the end, but in the during my first push at 17 minutes, I just do it with pure Zealot, Stalkers, and Immortals. Nothing else. Well, Sentries, but yeah. Just this standard gateway Immortal Ball. Nothing else. And this will beat a Broodlord Ling Ball. And here it comes, trying to put some pressure on me. Doing a couple of force field, but nothing big. And still just walk over him. And because I crushed him so much, I know he can't really attack me again, so I feel pretty safe. At the same time, he is also forced then to reproduce his army, which gives less income. So we're going to have a little bit of engagement here again. He catches me slightly off guard, so he gets pretty close to my army. But even without the force fields, I just crush the army, because Immortals just do so much damage against roaches. Warping in some more, just keeping my eco going, nothing big, just taking some map control, showing up here, forcing him to get units and units and units in emergency defense all the time. Another IST observer, just looking over his army. So now he has 67 lings and 7 infestors. Now I'm slightly late, and we have had some engagements, so like my max is slightly late because because I lost some units in the engagements, and the same counts for him. So we're all both getting ready to get maxed. Getting a couple of Archons. I'm actually I got High Templars, but I'm not using it for Storms, just Archons, because they do so much splash damage against Lings, and they handle Broodlords, or Broodlings, to be more specific, very well. They one-shot both, I'm pretty sure, so Harry's getting 5 Broodlords, 7 Infestors, and 127 links. He does a mural. The broodlings are raining down on me, and you can just see all struggling die, and suddenly he has nothing to protect the broodlers left. I have this gigantic stalker immortal ball, and he has nothing but infestors and 2 broodlers, which dare die. He gets off a lot of good fungals, he kills most of my army, but even after, like, this is actually enough, like, even if I lose this entire army, just killing all those infestors, 3 I think I killed, as well as those 5 broodlords is generally enough, because they're so gas intensive, and they're so expensive in total that you can't really remax too much on them. So I've pretty much done a good job now, but still, even after that I'm just killing links, and even with all those links and infested turns, my immortals are still standing, trying to smack those, but he moves them back, get up a fungal, figure out it's best to retreat, try and conserve them. He will of course not let it happen, so 26 links are now streaming in. And with 26 links, he managed to kill 3 mortals. For those 26 links, he killed 3 mortals. I still have 3 left. And here comes 2 immortals more, and a new chunk of army which have replenished it with my gates, warping in even more. Saturated my fort now. Can't take any guesses. No idea why, but yeah. I think I was too concentrated on attack. Nevertheless though, so I move in, I already killed all this lane reinforcement. There were like 20 in the beginning, then 26 more, and I killed all of them, and I was trying to get broodlords again, but it's taking so much time and resources that I'm just killing its natural, killing a lot of drones while my eco is just superb. And then I try to go up and see if I can get infestors and get a good link in, kill a couple of them, which is pretty good. He burrows, but I've slightly too few stalkers, so this time I have to actually pull back. I kill 1 broodlord more, and like, problem is like, if you kill all the support units, but you lose like because broodlords, because you lack anti or something, you can just pull back because broodlords are so slow that they can't really catch you. So I just pull back, and like, I've lost perhaps half of my army, but I killed like 1 or 2 broodlords and 2 or 3 infestors, and killed this natural at the same time. So I just pull back, join up with my reinforcement, 3 archons, a good bunch of link stalkers, getting more immortals. Because immortals are awesome. And then I just like continue with Link because I know he's getting broodlords, so I just add more and more Link stalkers so I can snipe them easier. And now I'm like 190 supply versus 125. I'm just so ahead in eco, so ahead in everything. And here he has a bunch of more broodlords, 9 in fact, and a bunch of infestors, but I just like, I have a couple of bad blinks and I get fungal, but even so, the Archons with 3 weapon upgrades just tear all the broodlings apart to get with a charge lock. So I just like kill them as I move in closer to them. And boom, that was awesome. And now he has like just infestors left, he has nothing else. And I kill his fort at the same time. My eco is still going just fine. My economy is about to drop a little bit because I haven't gotten my 5th yet, which I should have, but because I didn't handle this, I've had a problem expanding, and this is something you need to avoid in most scenarios, because if you are getting starved versus a broodlord army, you are going to have a lot of problems. You will need to remax against them. If he goes broodlords, I doubt you will win with like 1 army and just kill everything. Like, you can win the army, but if he gets more broodlords, you need to not be starved so you can keep up with his production and all. So yeah, you should try to avoid scenarios like this. You should try and handle that before you move out, so you are sure that you can keep up economy after you push, because if not, it can turn Psycho-Linish. But I've pretty much won the game at this point, so he had like no base. He had only this base mining that was like everything he had. So he gets us a couple of murals. Mutas tried to do anything, but I just blinked down, handled them easily. And Archons don't really do that much damage against Immortals, so yeah. Just keep on going, killing his fifth, I know, I lost count. Boom, boom, boom. And yeah. That's pretty much it, like. Yeah, I sent another army in to kill that base. My main army kills everything it has, GG. So, yeah, it's a very solid army. Of course, it can be countered, it can be beaten. I'm never going to say that an army composition or something is unbeatable, because it's not. But I've just found it in almost all of my macro PvZs that this unit composition just shines a lot. Like, the unit composition I have most problems with is like Mutaling. That's not because this unit composition is bad, it's more because I have problems handling harass at several different fronts at the same time. My mechanics just aren't good enough to handle harass at several expansions at the same time. Like links run in one, Mutalisks go and harass forth and back on your main in the meantime, and so forth. So I don't know, it feels solid overall. So yeah, I can imagine Hydra Ling timings or something like that could be a problem. I haven't faced that, so can't say for sure. But overall, if you just adapt with adding more Zealots, yeah, I think you should be able to handle this just perfectly, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much my game plan, the Zealot pressure, the IST unit composition, and I'm pretty sure I said it in the beginning, but if not, it's just not necessarily a set build order either. You can like go 1 or 3 gates length expand or something and transition into this unit composition later on. There's nothing wrong with doing that, that's just fine. This is just the way I have chosen like to play it. So yeah, if you find out some other way to play this style, then great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. This is just my way of doing it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something of it.